Welcome to Case Law Videos, where we break down significant legal cases for you. Today, we delve into a crucial judgment by the Supreme Court of India, K. Gopi versus the Sub-Registrar and others. This case, decided on 7th April 2025, clarifies the powers of the Sub-Registrar in property registration and has significant implications for property transactions across the country. At the heart of this case lies a fundamental question. Can a sub-registrar refuse to register a sale deed simply because the buyer hasn't proven the seller's ownership of the property? Let's unravel the facts, the arguments, and the Supreme Court's decisive answer. The case begins on 2nd September 2022 when Mr. Jayaraman Mudliar executed a sale deed for a property in favor of Mr. K. Gopi. When Mr. Gopi presented this deed for registration, the sub-registrar refused. The reason? Mr. Gopi failed to provide the necessary documents to establish Mr. Mudliar's title to the property, citing Rule 55A(I) of the registration rules framed under the Registration Act of 1908. Feeling aggrieved, Mr. Gopi challenged this refusal through a writ petition, but unfortunately, it was dismissed. An appeal to the district registrar offered a glimmer of hope, with a direction to reconsider. However, the sub-registrar remained firm, again refusing registration on 3rd October 2023, leading to another dismissed writ petition. Undeterred, Mr. Gopi took the matter to the Madras High Court through a writ appeal. Sadly, the High Court upheld the sub-registrar's authority under Rule 55A(I) and dismissed his appeal on 20th March 2024. This prompted Mr. Gopi to finally approach the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court of India. Importantly, Mr. Gopi amended his petition to directly challenge the validity of Rule 55A(I) itself. Before the Supreme Court, the core issue was crystal clear. Is Rule 55A(I), which allows the sub-registrar to demand proof of the seller's title before registration, legally sound under the Registration Act of 1908? Representing Mr. Gopi, Ms. Kurutulin argued that the sub-registrar's role under the 1908 Act is purely administrative. They are only meant to ensure procedural compliance, such as verifying the identity of the parties, their consent, and the payment of stamp duty and registration fees. Ms. Kurutulin forcefully contended that the Act does not grant the sub-registrar any power to investigate or adjudicate on the validity of the seller's title. Consequently, Rule 55A(I), which empowers them to do so, is beyond the scope of the Registration Act and therefore invalid or ultra vires. On the other side, representing the respondents, Mr. P.S. Raman, the Advocate General, and Mr. Sabrish Subramanian, argued in favor of Rule 55A(I). They suggested that the rule was introduced to prevent fraudulent property transactions, aligning with amendments made to the Registration Act in Tamil Nadu, specifically Sections 22-A and 22-B, which aim to curb illegal registrations. They also pointed out that the validity of Rule 55A(I) was already under consideration by the High Court and urged the Supreme Court not to intervene at this stage. Furthermore, they argued that the rule fell within the rulemaking powers granted under Section 69 of the 1908 Act. Interestingly, the state of Tamil Nadu offered to register the sale deed during the proceedings, potentially making the challenge seem academic. After careful consideration of the arguments, the Supreme Court delivered a significant verdict. The bench, comprising Justices Abhay S. Oka and Ujjal Bhuyan, allowed Mr. Gopi's appeal. The court unequivocally declared Rule 55A(I) of the registration rules as ultra vires the Registration Act 1908 and consequently quashed the judgments of the Madras High Court. The Supreme Court firmly stated that the role of the sub-registrar is indeed limited to ensuring procedural compliance. They possess no authority to delve into or verify the vendor's title. Even if the vendor's title is flawed, the sub-registrar is obligated to register the document if all procedural requirements are met. Registration, the court clarified, simply transfers whatever rights the vendor possesses. The court reasoned that Section 69 of the Registration Act, which grants the power to frame rules, does not authorize the creation of rules that allow the refusal of registration based on a failure to prove title. While Sections 22-A and 22-B, the Tamil Nadu amendments, provide specific grounds for refusing registration, the lack of proven title is not one of them. Therefore, Rule 55A(I) was found to be inconsistent with the Parent Act and hence invalid. In its final order, the Supreme Court directed the Sub-Registrar to register Mr. Gopi's sale deed within 1 month, provided all procedural requirements were fulfilled. The significance of this judgment cannot be overstated. It firmly establishes that the Sub-Registrar's function is ministerial, not adjudicatory. This ruling safeguards individuals from arbitrary refusals of registration based on title verification, a power not granted under the Registration Act. It also underscores the crucial principle that any rules framed under an act must remain within the boundaries set by the act itself. This decision provides much-needed clarity on the registration process and protects the rights of parties involved in property transactions. This was the case of K. Gopi versus the Sub-Registrar and others, a landmark judgment that reinforces the procedural nature of property registration in India.